Hey, welcome to Saxon's second edition of Algebra 1/2, and lesson 65 covers fractional part problems or word problems. So we can say a fraction of a number is another number. For example, when the fog lifted, 400 ghosts were spied skulking near the outskirts. If 240 ghosts were not spied, what fraction of the ghosts was not spied? So we would set that up. We would restate the problem by saying, what fraction of 640, why 640? Well, we know there were 400 spied and 240 not spied for a total of 640. What fraction of 640 is 240? Because 240 represents the ones not spied. Okay? So when we set that up, we're going to say, put it like this in an equation. What fraction of 640 is 240? Now once you've got that, you know how to set it up. You know how to work it out. You've got to get f by itself. So you divide by 640 on both sides. And when you do that, you're going to get 3 over 8. So 3/8. So 3/8 of the ghosts were not spied. Alright, let's look at this example. 5/8 of the gnomes who lived in the magic forest had happy faces. If 840 gnomes had happy faces, how many gnomes lived in the magic forest? Now in this one, we don't know the total of the gnomes. We only know that 5/8 had happy faces, 840 had happy faces. Anytime the two numbers that you're given stand for the exact same thing, they're going to go on opposite sides of the equal in the equation. So we would set it up by saying 5/8, which we have right here, 5/8 of what number is 840? Alright, now in this one, again, we got to get a by itself. We're going to have to divide by 5/8, so we're going to say 8 over 5, and we do that on both sides, so everything cancels out on the left. On the right, you can multiply across. 840 times 8 is 6,720, and 1 times 5 is 5. When you divide 6,720 by 5, you get 1,344. So now we know that there were 1,344 gnomes total living in the forest. If 840 had happy faces, then we can find out how many did not have happy faces by simply saying 1,344 minus 840. Alright, another example. On Monday, 2 4/5 times the acceptable number of rock badgers took refuge in the mountain caves. If 640 was the acceptable number, how many rock badgers took refuge in the mountain caves on Monday? Alright, we know that 2 4/5 times the acceptable number, and 640 is the acceptable number, so I've got to find, I'm looking for how many in all. So in this case, these two things don't really stand for the same thing. We've got to find out a total here. So we're going to restate this problem. 2 4/5 of 640 is what? Is how many? Alright, now again, 2 4/5 should be changed to an improper fraction, which would be 14 over 5. Makes it a whole lot easier here. 14 over 5 times 640 equals 8,960, and then divided by the 5, we get 1,792. So a total of 1,792 rock badgers took refuge in the mountain caves on Monday. Alright, so let's look at a practice problem here. When the gun sounded, only 2/5 of the racers began to run. If 460 racers began to run, how many racers were there in all? Alright, now I can say 2/5 began to run. 460 began to run. They're the same thing. So again, they're going to go on opposite sides of the equal. So we're saying 2/5 of what is 460? Well, to get rid of this 2/5, we're going to have to invert and multiply. So we'll do the same thing over here. And all of this cancels out. R equals, and let's see, 460 and 2. This will go into itself one time, and into this 230 times. And then we have ones on the bottom, and 230 times 5. Well, 200 times 5 is 1,000, and 30 times 5, well, let's just do it. 230 times 5, 0, 5, 1, 1. 1,150 racers in all. 460 of those began to run. Okay, good job. Now, the first 3 problems in this lesson are going to be from the new things. Since we only did one practice problem, I want you to go back into the lesson. There are 3 examples, and there's one example for each one of these problems in your problem set. So go back, refer to the examples in your book, in the lesson, and see how they set those up, and then follow that model for yours.